You know it's going to be a great night when your wife comes home drunk at 2 in the morning, glitter on her neck like fairy dust from someone else's dream, and announces, "Jack, I don't want to be tied down anymore. Life's waiting for me to experience it." Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. I'm Jack Hanlon, 38 years old, building inspector for the city of Millbrook, Maine. Once upon a time, I wanted to write the great American novel. Now I write violation notices for faulty wiring and cracked foundations. The irony isn't lost on me. I've become an expert at spotting structural failures in buildings while missing the ones in my own marriage. Lila stood in our bedroom doorway, swaying slightly, her designer dress, one I'd never seen before, clinging to curves she'd been working on at the gym where Tyler Brand, luxury realtor and walking cliché, also happened to work out. "You deserve someone who can appreciate you," she continued, her words slurring together like wet paint. "Someone stable, someone less. Less." That word hung in the air like smoke. "I see," I said, setting down my book. "Stephen King's Later. Appropriate. So you're leaving." She blinked, surprised. I think she'd expected tears, maybe begging. Yes, I need space. I need to find myself." "In Tyler Brand's bed?" Her face flushed. "How did you?" Lila, you've been coming home smelling like his cologne for 3 months. You think I'm stupid?" "I think you're boring," she snapped, suddenly sober. "I think you gave up on everything. Your writing, your dreams, us. Tyler makes me feel alive." I stood up slowly, walked to the closet, and pulled out her largest suitcase. "Then by all means, go feel alive. I'll help you pack." The confusion on her face was almost worth the knife in my chest. Almost. You're not going to fight for me." I smiled. It felt like stretching old leather. "Lila, I can't fight for something that's already gone. Take what you need. I'll sleep in the guest room tonight." She packed in a fury, throwing clothes and shoes into bags, muttering about my coldness, my lack of passion. I watched from the doorway, cataloging every item she took, every word she said. When she finally dragged her bags to the front door, she turned back one last time. "You'll regret this, Jack. You'll realize what you lost." "I already know what I lost," I said. "The question is, do you know what you're about to lose?" She didn't understand. She slammed the door, and I heard Tyler's Mustang roar to life outside. I stood there in the sudden silence of my empty house, breathing slowly, feeling the rage build like pressure in a sealed pipe. Then I saw it. Her purse, the small clutch she'd been carrying, sitting on the hall table. Inside, tucked in a hidden pocket, was a second phone. Not her regular iPhone, but a cheap Android burner. I powered it on. The messages loaded slowly, each one a fresh cut. Photos of her and Tyler, explicit and cruel, videos of them in his high-rise condo, champagne glasses clinking, but it was the last video that made my hands shake. Tyler, shirtless and smug. To Jack Hanlon, the most pathetic excuse for a man I've ever met. Lila giggling. "He probably thinks I'm at book club." Both of them. To the loser. I watched it 3 times. Then I smiled again, but this smile was different. This smile had teeth. I opened my laptop and started making notes. Building inspector work teaches you patience, attention to detail, and how to find every crack in a structure. Time to inspect my wife's new life and find all the violations. The Blue Door was exactly the kind of dive bar where information flowed more freely than the watered-down beer. I found Frank Delacroix there the next evening, nursing a whiskey and watching a Red Sox game on the ancient TV above the bar. Frank worked in city records, had known me since high school, and possessed the rare quality of loyalty in a town built on gossip. "Jack," he said, surprised. "Heard about Lila. Sorry, man." "Don't be." I slid onto the stool beside him. "I need information." His eyebrows rose. "What kind?" "The kind about Tyler Brand and his business practices, and anything about Lila's real estate office." Frank studied me for a long moment, then grinned. "Now we're talking. What are you planning?" "Nothing illegal, just due diligence." Over the next hour, Frank painted a picture that made my plan crystallize. Tyler Brand wasn't just a luxury realtor. He was a serial affair artist who'd burned through 3 marriages and countless relationships. His business skirted ethical lines regularly, inflating appraisals, steering clients to properties he had hidden interests in. "And Lila?" I asked. Frank grimaced. "Word is she's been using company resources for personal business. Client lists, company car for her, extracurricular activities. Her friend Cora's been spreading it around that you couldn't satisfy her, if you know what I mean." The rage burned hotter, but I kept my voice level. Cora talks too much. Always has. But here's the thing, Jack. Tyler's got a reputation. He's done this before. Swoops in, plays the big man, then dumps them when someone shinier comes along. Lila's just his latest conquest. He's already got his eye on some lawyer downtown. I processed this, turning my beer bottle slowly. Tyler drives that vintage Mustang, right? The yellow one? His baby. Loves that car more than people. Why? Just curious. I pulled out my phone, Lila's burner phone actually, and checked the GPS history I'd been tracking. He parks it at his condo building on 5th Street? Usually. Underground garage. He's got a reserved spot. Frank leaned closer. Jack, what are you thinking? I'm thinking Tyler Brand needs to understand that actions have consequences. I finished my beer. And I'm thinking Lila needs to see what happens when you build your life on a faulty foundation. That night, I visited Tyler's parking garage. No cameras in the old building. I'd checked the city permits myself. His Mustang gleamed under the fluorescent lights, yellow paint perfect, chrome sparkling. I didn't key it, didn't slash tires, nothing so crude. Instead, I used superglue in the door locks. Removed the valve cores from all 4 tires. They'd deflate slowly over hours. And I left a note under the windshield wiper. Borrowed your girl. Hope you don't mind. Jack. Petty? Maybe. But watching from across the street the next morning as Tyler discovered his disabled car, seeing him kick the tire and scream into his phone, was the first moment of genuine pleasure I'd felt in months. Lila's burner phone buzzed in my pocket. Tyler calling her, furious. I listened to his voicemail. That pathetic husband of yours messed with my car. I'm going to destroy him. We're going to that market festival Saturday, and I'm going to make sure everyone knows what a loser he is. You're going to stand by my side and show this whole town who you chose. Perfect. They were giving me a stage. I called Frank. How would you like to help me with a little public service announcement? Thought you'd never ask. The Millbrook Market Festival was the social event of the month. Local vendors, live music, and half the town milling around the pedestrian plaza downtown. Perfect weather, perfect crowd, perfect opportunity. I arrived early, dressed casually but neat, and positioned myself near the fountain where I knew Tyler and Lila would make their entrance. Frank was nearby with his phone ready, and I had copies of certain messages and photos printed on glossy paper in my jacket pocket. They arrived at noon, Tyler in an expensive suit despite the casual setting, Lila in a red dress that screamed, "Look at me!" They walked hand in hand, and I could see Lila scanning the crowd, probably hoping to spot people she knew, hoping to show off her upgrade. I waited until they were surrounded by the biggest cluster of people, including Cora and several of Lila's coworkers, then I stepped forward. Tyler, Lila, so glad I ran into you. Lila's face went white. Tyler's jaw clenched, but he forced a smile. Jack, didn't expect to see you here. Wouldn't miss it. I wanted to thank you, actually. I spoke loudly enough for the growing circle of onlookers to hear. Tyler, you've really shown me what a real man looks like. The kind who goes after married women, makes videos mocking their husbands, and builds his whole life on other people's foundations. You need to leave, Tyler growled, stepping closer. Do I? This is a public event. I'm just expressing my gratitude. I turned to the crowd, many of whom I recognized. See, my wife here decided she needed someone more exciting, someone successful, someone who drives a vintage Mustang, when it's working anyway. How'd you get here today, Tyler? Uber? Snickers rippled through the crowd. Tyler's face reddened. You're pathetic, Lila hissed. You can't accept that I moved on. Moved on? Is that what we're calling it? I pulled out my phone, her burner phone, and held it up. You left this at the house. Lots of interesting content. Want me to share? That's private property. Tyler lunged forward, but I stepped back smoothly and he stumbled, arms windmilling. Private? Like the video where you both toast to the loser? Or the text where you discuss how boring I am in bed, which is rich, Lila, considering you faked it for the last 2 years. I found your diary. Very detailed notes about your acting skills. Gasps from the crowd. Lila's face went from white to crimson. You bastard, she whispered. But wait, there's more. I channeled my best infomercial voice. Tyler here isn't just a home wrecker. He's also an equal opportunity cheater. Cora, did you know he's been texting your friend Jennifer? The lawyer? Yeah, there are messages here about meeting up next week. Guess Lila's already getting boring. Cora's mouth dropped open. She turned to Lila. You said he was devoted to you. You said Jack was the problem. He's lying, Lila shouted. Am I? I held up the phone. I can show everyone right now. Tyler finally snapped. He shoved me hard, and I let myself fall backward, right into the fountain. The crowd gasped. I came up sputtering, and Tyler stood over me, fist raised. "Tyler, don't!" Lila grabbed his arm. But Tyler was beyond reason. He tried to follow me into the fountain, probably to hit me, but his expensive leather shoes slipped on the wet stone. He went down hard, face first into the water, his suit soaking through. The crowd erupted in laughter. Phones were out, recording everything. Tyler came up gasping, his hair plastered to his head, mascara streaming down his face from whatever hair product he used. I climbed out of the fountain, dripping but grinning. "Thanks for the swim, Tyler. Really refreshing." As I walked away, I accidentally dropped Lila's burner phone on the ground, screen up. The locked screen was visible to everyone. "Tyler, bring the handcuffs tonight." "Lila, already packed them." Behind me, I heard Cora's voice, loud and sharp. "Lila Marie Hanlon, you told me you were a victim. You said Jack was controlling, but you're just a—" I didn't stay to hear the rest. I'd planted the seeds. Time to let them grow. The fallout was spectacular. By Monday morning, the fountain incident had gone viral locally. Someone had posted video to Facebook, and the comments section was brutal. Tyler's reputation took a massive hit. Several clients called to cancel listings. Lila's boss, a stern woman named Patricia who ran the real estate office with iron discipline, called an emergency meeting. I know this because I'd sent Patricia an anonymous package over the weekend. Inside, printed copies of Lila's company car GPS logs showing trips during work hours to Tyler's condo, hotels, and once to a casino 3 hours away. Also included, evidence that Lila had been accessing the company's client database and sharing information with Tyler, who worked for a competing firm. Frank had helped me compile it all from public records and information I'd gathered from the burner phone. Nothing illegal about any of it, just good old-fashioned investigative work. Tuesday afternoon, I was inspecting a renovation site when my phone rang. Unknown number. "Jack Hanlon, this is Patricia Vance. I believe you know my employee, Lila Hanlon. Ex-wife, soon. What can I do for you?" I received some disturbing information about her conduct. I wanted to verify its authenticity before taking action. Everything in that package is verifiable through public records and company logs. I'm a building inspector, Ms. Vance. I'm very good at documentation. She was quiet for a moment. "Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I'm sorry for what you've been through. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm looking for accountability. You'll have it." Wednesday morning, Lila was fired. Publicly, in the office, with her coworkers watching. Patricia didn't believe in private terminations for public violations of ethics. The State Real Estate Commission launched an investigation into her license. That same day, Tyler confronted me in a parking garage downtown. I'd expected it, had even chosen to park there hoping he'd show up. "You destroyed her career," he shouted, his voice echoing off concrete walls. "You vindictive piece of—" "I documented her violations," I interrupted calmly. "She destroyed her own career. You just helped." He advanced on me, fists clenched. "I'm going to make you pay for this. I'll file charges. Harassment, stalking, something. I'll ruin you." "With what evidence? That I returned my wife's lost phone to her employer? That I fell in a fountain when you pushed me?" I smiled. "See, Tyler, you think with your fists and your ego. I think with my head. You're not equipped for this fight." He swung at me. I'd been expecting it. Guys like Tyler always resort to violence when they're cornered. I ducked, and his fist hit a concrete pillar. He screamed, cradling his hand. "That's going to hurt tomorrow," I observed. "You should ice it. I'll kill you." "No, you won't, because you're a coward who only feels big when you're stealing other men's wives and mocking them behind their backs." I stepped closer, and he actually backed up. "But here's what's going to happen. You and Lila are going to turn on each other. She's going to blame you for her lost career. You're going to blame her for damaging your reputation. And I'm going to watch it all burn down." "You're insane." "No, Tyler, I'm thorough." I pulled out my phone, my actual phone this time. "I've been recording this conversation. You just threatened to kill me. Want me to send this to the police? Or should we call it even and you walk away?" His face went pale. Without another word, he turned and ran, back to his car. I didn't follow. I'd already planted the real bomb. The abandoned textile factory on the edge of town had been scheduled for demolition for years, but permits and environmental concerns kept delaying it. I knew every inch of the building. I'd done 3 separate inspections on it. I also knew it wasn't monitored, had no cameras, and was the perfect place for a final confrontation. Thursday evening, I sent Tyler a text from a burner phone. "I have video of you and Lila that will destroy what's left of your career. Meet me at the old Millbrook textile factory at 9 p.m. Come alone, bring cash, and we can make this go away." To Lila, I sent, Tyler's planning to blame everything on you. He's meeting someone tonight to sell evidence against you. Millbrook Textile Factory, 9 p.m. If you want to save yourself, be there. Then I called Frank. Remember how you said you owed me for helping with your divorce? Yeah? I need you to call in a noise disturbance at the textile factory. Anonymous tip. Say you heard shouting and maybe a fight, but wait until 9:30. Jack, what are you doing? Finishing what they started. I arrived at 8:30, parked a block away, and entered through a side door I'd left unlocked during my last inspection. The main floor was vast and empty, moonlight streaming through broken windows. I positioned myself in the shadows and waited. Tyler arrived first, at 8:50, nervous and looking around constantly. Lila showed up 5 minutes later, her car screeching to a stop outside. They saw each other and immediately started arguing. What are you doing here? Tyler demanded. What are you doing here? I got a message saying you were selling me out. I got a message about paying for a video. Understanding dawned on both their faces simultaneously. They turned, scanning the shadows. I stepped out into the moonlight. Looking for me? Jack. Lila's voice shook. What is this? This is accountability. I held up a small digital recorder. For the past 10 minutes, I've been playing audio of you two. Your conversations about me, about your plans, about how you were going to take me for everything in the divorce, all recorded from that burner phone you left behind. That's illegal, Tyler shouted. Actually, Maine is a one-party consent state, and since you were talking to Lila, who technically still owns the phone, it's completely legal. I've already sent copies to your boss, Tyler, and to the real estate commission, Lila, and to about 50 of your closest friends and family members. Lila's legs seemed to give out. She sat down hard on the concrete floor. No, you didn't. I did, including the video of you two mocking me, the photos, the texts about your plans to clean me out in the divorce, to claim I was abusive, to ruin my reputation so you could look like the victim. I walked closer. See, you thought I was boring, predictable, weak, but you forgot. I spent 10 years learning to write stories. I know how to build a narrative, I know how to create a climax, and I know how to deliver an ending. Tyler rushed at me, but I was ready. I pulled out pepper spray, completely legal to carry, and hit him square in the face. He went down screaming, clawing at his eyes. Don't worry, Tyler, I said calmly. You're not being tied down. You're just experiencing life. Isn't that what you wanted, Lila? To experience life? She was crying now, mascara running. We're sorry. We're so sorry. Please, Jack. We'll leave town. We'll disappear. Just stop. Stop? I haven't even finished. I checked my watch. In about 3 minutes, police are going to receive an anonymous call about a disturbance here. They're going to find you two together, trespassing in a condemned building. They're going to ask questions about why you're here, and when they run your names, they're going to find all those complaints I filed about Tyler's business practices and Lila's ethics violations. You set us up, Tyler gasped, still on the ground. No, you set yourselves up. I just documented it. I walked toward the exit. You wanted freedom, Lila. You wanted excitement. You wanted to not be tied down. Well, congratulations. You're free. Free of your career, your reputation, your marriage, and soon, your relationship with Tyler. Because let's be honest, you two are going to destroy each other trying to save yourselves. I paused at the door and looked back. Tyler was trying to stand, still half blind. Lila was sobbing. They looked pathetic, broken, exactly how they'd wanted to leave me. She said she didn't want to be tied down, I said softly. So I untied her world, one knot at a time. Sirens wailed in the distance, getting closer. I walked out into the night, leaving them to face the consequences together. 3 blocks away, I stopped under a streetlight. Rain had started to fall, cold and cleansing. Behind me, red and blue lights painted the sky. I could hear shouting. Tyler and Lila, already turning on each other, already blaming, already destroying what little they had left. My phone buzzed. Frank. You okay? Me. Never better. I walked home through the rain, thinking about tomorrow, about the divorce papers I'd file, ironclad and brutal, about the new job offer in Portland I'd been considering, about the novel I might finally write. Behind me, my old life burned down. Ahead, the future waited, unwritten and mine. They'd wanted to experience life. I'd given them exactly that. Every harsh, unforgiving consequence of their choices. Justice isn't always clean. Sometimes it's messy, complicated, and deeply personal. Sometimes it's perfect. The end, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next story. Write in the comments from which city you are watching.